So I got a new thing. Icom, the IC-A25N. This is a VHF airband transceiver, aka a handheld for aviation. So thought I would walk you through what comes in here so you can take a look with me, and then we'll try it out. As some of you know from other videos, I have another handheld radio, which is the Sporties version. I think it's Sporties. I'm gonna have to look, but that one takes AA batteries, which is pretty cool. I like that radio, but apparently this one has some features that the other one does not. So yeah, let's figure it out here. This one has Bluetooth, and we'll go into a little bit more of what this thing has versus the other one that I have, but at least you can kind of see what's going on here with Bluetooth connection. It looks like you can pair a Bluetooth headset, which is pretty cool. So kind of the whole reason why I bought the other one, it was very easy for me to, you know, unplug my headset from the, I almost said car, but the airplane, plug it right in because it's got the two jacks there, and then use it like that, which is, it is very handy, don't get me wrong. I think this one might be a kind of a pain to switch over from, especially if you're listening to Bluetooth over the headset already, to this. Let's say, you know, if you're listening to your phone over Bluetooth, but we'll see what's going on. Okay, so this has got the jacks, but it's part of a little adapter. I had a radio that had something similar to that, so that's not too far off. It comes with the antenna, of course, that comes in handy. Little power station, so you can throw it right in there. It looks like it's got an AC plug, so just keep it, you know, plugged around there so you can grab it and go. And this is the, I know this is the AC adapter. It's the only thing that comes in white boxes. Yeah, like that. Little clip, super handy. Hopefully it's not a pain in the butt to attach. It looks like it's a slide in. Yay, that's a good thing. Sometimes they have screws on the side that you have to, you know, manage while screwing into the radio. A little lanyard thing. It's nice. Keep messing with this, but it's just a, that's a block. We'll toss that in there. This is the actual battery. It would be nice to have two batteries. Maybe I'll try to find the battery and get another one, because it's always good to have a backup, a BP-288, so I'll look out for that. And then finally the radio, which I will say, this is a snazzy looking unit. Throw all the trash there. Snazzy looking unit here. Let's just see real quick. That's the speaker mic, so you pull that open. That's for the adapter. I do know that. That's pretty consistent with all the other ones. Squelch has the buttons as opposed to, that's interesting. We'll verify that in the documents. It's got the light, which I wonder if it's a light just for the radio. I'm guessing it's just for the radio. And then push to talk, of course. The buttons, slightly raised. Okay, that's nothing too horrible. I do like the other ones better where it's like individual buttons. It just makes me feel better being able to do it. Got a little trackpad, which feels decent. Menu, F probably function, I'm guess, clear, yeah, all your standard stuff. If the squelch is on the side, I'm wondering what, like this feels like channel, like going through your channels, right? But what is this? I'm guessing maybe volume and channel then? Okay, we'll go with that. Volume and channel. Again, we'll look in the instruction manual, but all right, so here it is on all of its glory. It took all of a couple seconds to do. It's got a bayonet type, so it's not a screw down, which is kind of nice on the antenna. This just slides right in, pretty super simple. And if you, well, I'm sure you know how to do that, right? The loop-de-loop, and there's your lanyard. All right, let's try to figure out how to turn this on. My guess is it's probably one of these buttons here. All right, so let's try it out. Let's actually fly.
This thing sucks.
All right, so I'm back from a lot of flying with this radio and with my other radio, and thought that I would, of course, go through a couple features of this radio, because it does have features, and then kind of go through what I think. Now, the big thing is that I am kind of comparing this against my PJ2 COM Radio. It's the one with the jacks that I keep referencing. I'll put another picture somewhere on here so you can see what I'm talking about. So I'll make references to it, and then also kind of the recommendation at the end. This is a higher end radio. It is arguably the best as far as transmission, power wattage, receive and transmit abilities, and then also features. So I'm going to go through a few things with you that I found, and I found by both looking it up on the internet, reading the instructions or manual, whatever, and going from there. So as we now know, the power button is down here, and if you briefly hit the power button, it'll just make a noise. But if you hold it, it'll make a second beep, and it'll actually power on. And then you got to push it down for a couple seconds. It'll power on. It'll show you your remaining power use or your battery, which isn't too horribly helpful. I've used this light quite often because the screen it's not too bad to see, but it's not the best as far as like the ability to see it, which is weird because it's nothing on there but the frequency 126.5, and then if you elect to have the weather pop up if there is a weather alert, and then battery. So the good, bad, or indifferent, the screen is very clean. There's not a lot on there. I kind of like that, but I do use the light every so often. All right, cool deal. So like I said, that is one of those features, and let's just go through the menu real quick and show you what's going on here. This thing has a GPS, which is pretty cool. My other radios do not. It's one of the few radios that I've seen that actually has GPS in here, and because of that, you can do navigation ish, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is a pain in the butt. So any of the features on this radio that you have to do in regard to navigation and utilization of GPS outside of knowing your actual fix, right? You have to do manually. And they have an application called, I cannot remember what it's called, but I have an Android phone. This is I don't know what it is. It's an Android phone. We'll just leave it at that, right? And because the application isn't regularly updated, you have to use a third-party source to get the latest one loaded onto your phone. So you can't go through the App Store. With iPhones, I believe you can still. At least that's what I'm seeing from what's written. But think about this. So when you go into waypoints, right, or search nearest ST, I'm guessing that means station. I believe that's what they call it. But regardless, that's airport. That's anything you put in there, because you have to do it manually, right? It could be your house, right? So just any point that you use the app to do it, and I'll show screenshots of kind of what the app looks like on Android. At least it may look a little bit different, but you have to enter in everything. So it's not just enter in airport identification or like VOR or whatever, right? Long story long, search nearest station. This could be anything, literally any of the waypoints that you put in manually in from your iPhone or Android device into this, and it is a thing. So I entered one, and this is just a fictitious thing, right? So Washington D.C. W. It was hard to even type the thing in. I will give it credit where it gives you a map and you can, you know, do the little finger thing and push and hold to get kind of like where you're trying to go. But the map is just literally a map of the 50 states outline. That's it. A couple markers on there that say like DC and maybe the state capitals, but regardless. All right, so enter this one. And this is now on waypoint 1. Name of the waypoint, the waypoint number. All right, Bluetooth. It was pretty easy to do the Bluetooth thing in this menu. You just connect to your phone, right? You can also connect to your headset, which is cool, I guess, because one of the things that I noticed when I was flying around is I did use this. This is the adapter, right? Fits in like this. It's got a little rubber grommet, so it's waterproof-ish, I guess. But yeah, it has the little dongles there, and then of course if you want to plug something in, which, I mean, if you're using this, I don't know why you would want to stick in an audio jack. You're trying to get to where you need to be, right? So you don't need any more distractions. Everything else is waypoint based, right? Manual type of stuff. So anything that looks cool that has to do with navigation is that manual thing that I talked about. So, you know, if you do to from, your waypoints only where you've loaded. OBS, same thing. It just gives you that visual representation of the waypoint that you select. 121.5, again, I don't know why this exists on this radio, but you hit function, 121.5, and then your emergency frequency. It is nice that it's called out as emergency frequency, but 121.500, and you're on there anyway. Scan is interesting, I guess, if you want to hang out in your car or something and just scan all the frequencies. So anyway, got a lot of features, but it's a lot of redundancy, and truthfully, they could bring this down into like 3 different things, right? Like direct to, that's one. They could do scan, again, limited help there. And then let's see here, direct to scan, and that's pretty, oh yeah, the weather, right? It receives, it transmits well, right? Cool. But all of this other mess that they're putting on here is absolutely ridiculous. A couple other things too. This runs on a battery. It comes with a lithium-ion battery, right? Some of you may know I'm not a huge fan of lithium-ion batteries when you're on an airplane, but whatever, it is what it is. You do have the option, if you go into the manual, as I have been multiple times now for various things, you have the option to purchase, right, a AA battery pack. It has 6 AA batteries. So that's okay, but it's an added cost. So you're like, all right, whatever. Well, maybe I could just plug it in and keep it moving there. Nope. For an additional charge, you can buy the Icom adapter. And it's a 12-volt, you know, old school cigarette plug adapter. In the manual, they say nothing about, it may exist, but they say nothing about, you know, a USB charger. And I doubt that they'll have one, because notice the DC input's 11 volts. USB is normally 5 volts unless you have USB-C, which I don't know if this thing's doing the conversion. Long story short, they don't make it easy for you to plug it in. So you have a lithium battery on a radio that you can only charge really at home from the base station, because this base station, I'm just going to be all over the place, but it is what it is. This base station, the plug, is only for, let me turn this off so I'm not transmitting on whatever frequency that is. Again, I'm constantly concerned. It does have a lockout button, but whatever. It doesn't fit, all right? And that's not a good description of, or a good visualization, but you get the idea. All right, so the goods has a strong power, right? Like, it's good for transmission and receiving. Is it much stronger than all the other radios out there? No. My little PJ2, I didn't notice any difference between the two. I'm trying to think of more positives about this. It's neat looking. It's features, like it's feature built, so if you really want to fiddle around with all these things, go for it.
What do we do now?
So I got another one. Why not? So my thought is to have this as a secondary radio. You know, it's $200, so why not? Also, keep it in my truck, so I can listen to what's going on the ground. It's cheaper than a lot of high value scanners. And really what it comes up, super simple. I did a full review, so if you want to look at it, but here we go. Comes with the manual, the actual device here, and as you can see, it's built like a tank. It's easy. If I want to listen to weather, hit weather. If I want memory channels, I hit memory channels. You get the idea, right? How do you listen to 121.5? 121.500? Boom, done. Or you could just hold down this button right here, but it's super easy to enter the frequency. Headset right up here. Oh, look at that. That is beautiful. Squelch function, volume function, right? I believe this is the earphone jack. Yep. Antenna, super simple, bayonet plug. Send and receive. Got the light on there. Super easy. On the side, USB-C. So I can literally plug this up to a USB-C and it will work. Alright, what else comes with it? This cool little dangly thing that I put on but I never use. The antenna, let's put that on there real quick. Like I said, bayonet, you push down, twist, done. Even comes with a USB-C plug. Awesome, thank you. Let's continue on this journey. Battery box, super easy. Open it up, put 6 batteries in. I have had the best luck with Duracell, and especially the, I know it's crazy, sorry, don't shoot me, but there is a marked difference in the Duracell like extended life batteries, the black ones with a little bit of gold on there. They sit to last longer and they don't corrode, which is awesome. If you use other batteries and you leave them in here, which a lot of you will probably do, just because you don't use it as frequently as other radios in your plane. You don't want to turn it on, notice it did, open it up, and it's a whole bunch of corrosion in there. That is no fun. And then a little clip with screws that just went everywhere. So that's pretty much it. Super simple. Oh, I lied. Hold on. Let me... There we go. And this guy up. Okay. Ta-da! I don't know why. Like, I guess you would plug it in, plug the USB-C in, and just listen on your desk or something. But hey, whatever. It's there. Not complaining. So give me a second. Let's put some batteries in it. I just noticed also that it has a little cheat sheet here for putting frequencies in memory, because it also can scan frequencies as well, which is pretty cool. All right. Oh, it's already on. Holy smokes. There we go. Battery attached. Let me try to adjust the squelch so it doesn't do that. Put that little thing down. There we go. Woo. All right. Let's see here. So this is pretty much it. Oh, let's move this over here. Probably have kept it on, but I'm not. All right. This is it. Weather. Boom. Super easy, right? I'm trying to remember what weather channel. I think we're at this one, maybe. Let me check. I literally just had to push the up button. Daggone it. I'm like, why isn't 4 working? And then I looked and I was like, there we go. So you can see how easy it is, right? Clear button. 12675. Probably won't get anything, inside the house, but that's easy, right? super easy. You won't have memory or recall, but that's pretty much it. And then I think you can scan. Let's see here. Holy smokes, this is the easiest radio ever. Forgot how to scan. I'm like, huh. So I read the manual, and it's like, if you would like to scan, press the up button or down button. I'm like, no kidding. All right, so you can scan up, you can scan down. Let me get this off of squelch. Here we go. You push, scan up, boop, there it is. And it just rolls through the channels. Super easy. I love this radio. So from here, there we go. If you want to see the full review of this thing, you know, check back on the old video there. I'm going to put my clip on the back. I'm going to put my strap in the thing. I'm going to throw this in the truck. Call it a day. But love it. That's my preference. If you like the other one and you want to take the time, I will not judge, because it does have some pretty cool features to it. The Icom. But yeah, have a great one. See you.